we are, as we tape this, about 100 hours away from kickoff. Professor Diaz, let's start with you. For those who don't really know as much as perhaps they could, what has made Bad Bunny one of the biggest stars on the planet right now? Why does he matter so much right now?
I think there are so many different factors that have contributed to his immense success. The reality is he is one of the most popular artists in the US and in the world. And this didn't happen overnight, even though it has been, has felt very rapid. He is someone who came up as a Latin trap artist and reggaeton artist from Puerto Rico. And he was the most streamed artist from 2020 to 2022 and again in 2025. So he has really kind of captured the world. One of the things about him is he's always been really outspoken about the things he cares the most about. Number one, representing his homeland of Puerto Rico. And number two, speaking out about any other injustice that he, feels is important to him. That has included domestic violence, LGBTQ plus rights. And he has been outspoken against President Trump since the first administration. And yet, despite all of this political discussion that he participates in, his fame has skyrocketed, which is not typical for American artists, or really any artist. So I think that has really made him seem more authentic than others. And I think that we continue to see that from the Grammys speeches. And I think that we'll see it on Sunday as well.
What do you think, Professor Diaz, this signifies as a moment for Puerto Rico?
Well, I think that there's so many different crises happening in Puerto Rico that have been happening really throughout the 100+ years of US colonialism in Puerto Rico, which Bad Bunny speaks really clearly about in his lyrics. He always has, but it became incredibly more pointed with his most recent album, Debí Tirar Más Fotos, where he has songs like Lo que le pasó a Hawaii, which basically say that he doesn't want Puerto Rico to become a state. Puerto Rico is going through immense displacement, forced migration, gentrification. And a lot of this has to do with the way that the US holding Puerto Rico as a territory can really kind of manipulate it in different ways to offer tax benefits to wealthy Americans who want to live there, while Puerto Ricans on the island suffer as a result. He's very aware of this. He talks about this. But I also think it's important to understand the broader context for Latinos who are being criminalized, who are being terrorized and targeted by ICE right now. And so Bad Bunny's presence as the first solo Latino artist and performing completely in Spanish. He doesn't have English songs. So this is going to be a Spanish Super Bowl halftime show at a time when the Spanish language is being criminalized. The Grammy wins, the Super Bowl, it's a win for Puerto Ricans for sure, but for all Latinos. And I think that it is incredibly consequential politically and historically, even if that wasn't why he was chosen for the Super Bowl halftime show.
So Kalyn, you just reported a story along with Don that was published in ESPN.com a few days ago about the decision-making process here from the NFL's perspective, taking into consideration everything Professor Diaz just had to say and everything we know about Bad Bunny and his outspokenness politically, and especially about immigration policy right now. Well, from the NFL's point of view, why get into the middle of this?
Yeah, so the NFL, this was a really interesting decision for the NFL because, as we know, throughout their history of the league, they've tried to stay apolitical, and they've tried to stay in the middle of and not anger any subset of fans. But really, what this comes down to with Bad Bunny is the NFL's primary goal right now is international growth. And actually, just yesterday at Roger Goodell's press conference, he said they're going to play 9 international games next year, which is a new record. This past season, they played 7, which had been the record. And so every year they are adding more and more games played internationally, more cities. And Goodell actually said that, he said something like, the demand is so high, we're having to turn cities down because everybody wants the NFL to play there. So the league is so globally focused. And obviously they see Bad Bunny having this massive global audience, this massive reach outside of the United States, a reach to a population that speaks a language other than English. And that's another focus of this NFL league office right now, is reaching the Spanish speaking market. I spoke to a couple NFL league office executives about their strategy to reach the Latinos in the United States and globally. This is a market that they targeted in 2020 when they were looking at their future goals for the next 5 to 10 years. what are the fastest growing populations, and the Latino population in the United States is one of the fastest growing populations. It's also very young, so they see a huge opportunity in reaching this demographic, and Bad Bunny is the artist to do that. And the reason I wrote the story that I did is because it was very clear to me like how Bad Bunny aligned with the NFL's vision for international growth, but it also seemed like a difference between how the league office was acting, because after Trump criticized the decision and Christine Nome, the Department of Homeland Security, criticized the decision, Roger Goodell, a few weeks later, doubled down on Bad Bunny as a performer. There was no flinching from the league office really whatsoever here publicly. And so I wanted to find out more about what was going on behind the scenes in the league office. Was anybody, questioning this decision internally? And really what I found is there wasn't much of that either. I did have a club executive who attends the league meetings regularly. He told me that, well, I had a couple of them say that Bad Bunny has not even come up in the group discussion as a topic. And owners are typically not super involved in this decision anyways. Like they find out kind of when the rest of us find out for the most part, unless they're on specific subcommittees. But I talked to another club executive who said, yeah, at first there was a little bit of like, okay, we're not really familiar with this artist. He speaks a different language. How is this a fit? And then very quickly, this club executive told me that the owners, for the most part, got on board with it because they realized, what is the league's main goal? International growth. And what can Bad Bunny do? Who is he? He is the biggest artist for the world right now.